I think both of these games are winnable. I think both of these games are very losable, too. And I think we talked about it with Baldy a little bit. I think people are overlooking the Falcons. To me, they're a different team with Taylor Heineke. If he's not going to turn the ball over, he's way better than what Desmond Ridder was for them.
Agreed.
Because Desmond Ridder was just careless with the football. It was a nightmare. They have talent on that football team. Their defense is pretty good, much better than the Cardinals. I think the Bears are going to struggle to score points this week. And offensively, again, I think it just comes back to it's very similar to the Bears. They're not great, but they have enough talent on the field at any given time where if they just don't turn the ball over, they're going to be in position to win the game. So I know it's not a groundbreaking take here, but to me this is just the definition of one of those games that's going to come down to the turnovers and taking care of the football this week, and whoever loses the turnover battle probably loses the football game. But it just, this season to me and the progress that's been made, when you zoom out and all of a sudden you go, wow, the Bears are 6-5 in their last 11, and 3 of those losses should have been wins.
Right.
That's okay. That's something. They've won 4 straight home games.
Right.
That's something. They've turned that around from what Lawrence mentioned earlier. They lost 10 in a row at home, which was terrible. Type of stuff that gets you fired. Okay, now they're on a 4-game win streak at home. Good for them. And then meanwhile, they've won 2 in a row against NFC North opponents when they couldn't. What, 0-9 was what they started, right? This regime, against the North. Now all of a sudden they won 2 in a row. They beat the Packers. That's 3 in a row. Now you were 3-3 in your division.
Yep.
Which isn't as bad. We would have taken that probably before the beginning of the year, and they've won 3 in a row. They beat all 3 teams within the division. The point I'm trying to make here is the zoom-out picture of what's been accomplished here recently, to me, looks completely different if you win these 2 games compared to if you lose these 2 games.
I agree.
Because if you lose these 2 games, those streaks we've been talking about go out the window. Now you haven't won 5 in a row at home. You haven't won 3 in a row against your division. And maybe most importantly to the McCaskey family, you still haven't beaten the Packers.
Yep.
So if we want to still have this conversation about who's coaching the team next year, I would almost call it a virtual lock for Eberflus to return if they win these last 2 games. Whereas if they lose these, and of course the context always matters, I just think there's much more fuel to the fire of this idea of, hey, what's going on with Jim Harbaugh in Michigan? Did they beat Alabama? Are they playing for the national championship the day after the season ends, by the way, which is interesting timing? That could all be stuff we're talking about here in a week and a half.
We all silly like the mayor.